Hello, welcome back. Now, before we get started, before you guys start going ballistic on me, and like turning into Arnold, number one, relax, sit down, have a beer, and let's take a look at this as fairly as possible through the eyes of a Windows user like myself. Admittedly, I don't use Windows as much as I used to, but I will try to be as fair about this as possible. And also, for now, let's just forget about how this looks, off the bat. We all know with Linux we can change the way something looks, okay? So for now, I won't grade this too much on how it looks running this off a live USB stick. Okay, let's get started. All right, okay, let's go to the Linspire website and let's see what they have to say about this beta version of Linspire. Now again, I am running this off a USB stick, so it won't run as fast as what it should, but it should be good enough. So we need to go to Linspire and see what they have to say. All right, Linspire, the easiest desktop, Linux desktop. So it says here, let's see here, proudly announce today PC Open Systems development team is pleased to announce the public beta for Release 10, the next chapter in the Linspire story. Along with updated branding and design, we have made significant advancements that once again proves, if there was ever any doubt, Linspire is the #1 Linux distribution. I don't need that. Get out of there. The #1 Linux distribution for new, intermediate, and power users. Release 10 utilizes the latest LTS from Canonical 20.04, of course, Canonical, the makers of the famous Ubuntu. Okay, so it's based off Ubuntu, which is stable. LTS is good for beginners. So there's two things going for it. So that's what it says on the Linspire website. If there was ever any doubt, Linspire is the #1 Linux distribution for new, intermediate, and power users. Let me just say that is certainly a Linspiring statement. Sorry, I couldn't resist. All right, so I did have to install Simple Screen Recorder through the terminal. This is not something a newbie would probably figure out in the beginning, but that's okay. It's not that hard to learn. So let's go ahead and minimize this. This is the default desktop, and by the way, I will not edit this whatsoever. If it doesn't work, fine. If it crashes, what you see is what you get. Hopefully it won't do that. So the wallpaper is too plain Jane for me. So let's right click. Let's add some color. I'll go with this. Okay, cool. This is running, has the XFCE desktop, which is perfectly fine for beginners. I don't have a problem with that. My personal favorite is Mate, but XFCE is right up there too. So we have the usual panel here at the bottom. And if you have played with XFCE before, again, this should come as no surprise or shock to you. My microphone here is working nicely, so very good. So as far as the default colors and fonts, it's okay. If I was going to install this, I would change a few things in terms of how it looks, but that's easy. Okay, so with this, of course, you can add little shortcuts, little applets, the same as you can in the Mate desktop. So a whole bunch here to choose from. For example, why don't we add notes? Just add, and there you go. A little note taker here at the bottom right. Again, simple. And we can move the panel to the top, left or right. I'll leave it at the bottom the way it is for now. These are my open windows. Let's close Chrome, and of course Simple Screen Recorder. I can't close it because that'll end the recording, so let's go ahead and minimize that. Okay, places. So custom trash desktop file system. It's reading my 500 gig Windows hard drive, so that's all normal there. Applications, so this is the I guess we can call this the start button. So let's go through this one by one, and by the way, there are shortcuts here on the desktop, the usual, nothing unusual here, including install Linspire 10. Now this is a beta, so it has some bugs, so if you are going to install this, just be aware of that. Let's go to the start button. Why don't we go through these one by one briefly? Let's go through accessories. ClamTK antivirus. Interesting that that is installed. Let's see if anything else catches my eye. Anything unusual? XFBurn, a CD burning utility, and that's cool. Okay, let's. Anything else unusual? Nah. All right, let's go to games. Just a few here. Dream Chess, K Patience, graphics. Okay, let's see. If it was me to keep this, I would probably install the GIMP. Internet. Alright, so we have Google Chrome, I use ICE, desktop integration for web apps. I don't use Thunderbird. Mail I use quite a bit. For those of you who support the channel through PayPal, that's how I get all of my notifications. Thank you, by the way. And a transmission BitTorrent client for downloading ISO files for Linux. Let's go to multimedia. Cheese Pulse Audio, the excellent Pulse Audio application. Let's go back. Simple screen recorder I had to install. VLC, an excellent media player for both Linux and Windows. And I mentioned XFBurn. Rhythmbox, the ubiquitous music player for Ubuntu and many others. I've been using this for, I like the transparency effects, by the way. I've been using this 14 years. It's never let me down. And that's it for multimedia. Office. Interesting that LibreOffice is not installed, that they chose to go with only Office. I'm not sure why. I'm sure it works fine, but I've had pretty good luck with LibreOffice. Okay, let's get out of that. Let's go ahead and move on here. And let's see. Let's go to Other. ClamTK antivirus settings. There probably should be a whole bunch here, and there is. Let's see, appearance. Yep, we have some different styles here. Arc dark, darker, Graybird. Let's go with Numix for now. Icons, Humanity. We'll go with Humanity. Fonts and settings. The rest, they'll leave that the way it is. Again, that's how easy it is with a quick tap. Quick click to change how this looks if you are a newbie. Okay, let's see here. Display. It read my display, no problem. Continuing on here to settings. Anything else catches my eye? Yes, the Synaptic Package Manager installed by default. Fantastic utility for installing and removing software. I've been using this quite a few years. It's excellent, the Synaptic Package Manager. Let's go to System. Let's see, the App Cafe to add, remove software from the system. Let's take a look at the App Cafe. How about a little bit of coffee? All right, Explore, installed, updates. So this would be, I guess, similar to a to a software center, I guess we can call it. Okay, this is cool. Maybe this has to be installed and updated. The only thing here, I would have categories listed to make it easier, and maybe that'll pop up with a full install. But this is fine. You can click install and it shows you what is installed by default. That's all well and good. Okay, so back to settings, Thunar File Manager. Yeah, I like the colors of this a little bit better. Yeah, the usual here, you know, nothing unusual. This is my recording happening right now, simple screen recorder. So yeah, that's all well and good. All right, anything else here that I missed that's unusual? Now let's take a look at the task manager. 9% memory usage, very, very lightweight, as well it should be when you're running the XFCE desktop. And that's it. So, okay, so is this really the #1 Linux distribution for, you know, beginners, intermediate, and advanced? How do you, you know, in this day and age when you have so many good choices, how do you qualify that statement? How do you judge? How can you pick the #1 distribution for everybody? Is that even possible? You know, maybe that's for a future live chat. I don't know. But right now, the way this functions off a USB, no crashes, great for beginners who want to try it out. How it looks out of the box, no problem. As far as the default software, the only thing I would have added by default would be a screen recorder. Although if you're not going to be doing what I do, creating content, you probably will never use a screen recorder, but it would be nice to have one by default. That's probably the only thing that's missing out of the box, as we say. But other than that, is this number one? That's up to you to decide. It seems to function fine. No problem for a beginner to navigate through all this. Once this is finalized, I'm sure it'll be quite stable since it's based off Ubuntu, the LTS, which is what, 5 years support, I do believe. So, yeah, I would at least, I think to be fair, from what I see here, maybe put this in the top 10 choices for beginners. For intermediate and advanced users, I don't know if they would use this. There's nothing wrong if they want to use this. But like I said, for the Linspire team to call this the number one distribution period, certainly a Linspired statement, to say the least. That's all well and good. You guys tell me. I'm going to end this now. Again, no editing with this. Let me know what you guys think. And yeah, I think it looks fine, just the way it is. And this year has been a good year for Linux in general. And we'll talk about that in the future. Happy holidays. Have a safe New Year's. Be safe out there. Arrivederci.